right, so what did we think of Sonic 3?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. The second one is still like
that's still like the funniest. That's
funniest one.
That is the best watch.
Yeah. Sonic 3...
Not the best movie, the best watch.
Because Sonic 3 has a much more coherent plot and more solid emotional stakes, but it's less just pure entertainment value than the second one. And it really is, it's crazy that... So in 2020, for like our first or second FEARcast, we talked about Cats and Sonic in addition to, the movies we watched specifically for it. But we talked about those as 2020, as fear-inducing movies that came out just before the pandemic. It really is crazy that Sonic has turned into like
a multi-billion-dollar franchise. I don't know if multi-billion, but like
multi-hundred. It's probably made
a very highly grossing franchise.
The most consistently highly grossing movie franchise of the 2020s, probably.
God,
if you're not counting ones that started before 2020.
God, that is true.
Like
except for maybe I don't know if Dune actually made that much.
That's
money,
true. The two combined Dunes. I'm gonna guess and say that no, the two combined Dunes have not made as much as 3 combined Sonic movies, or won't have once Sonic 3 is finished with its box office run. That's not a statement on the Dune movies are way more peak, but
whoa! I'm showing you the way. I point the way, Shadow.
But yeah,
I am the voice of the outer worlds. Lisanal Sonic.
Sonic, oh god. But yeah, I mean, I was about to say Sonic Adventure 3 because it adapts. It's
an adaptation. Okay, so here's the thing about the Sonic movies. First Sonic movie, its own thing.
Yeah.
Not even really you can't even really call it an adaptation of Sonic Adventure, of Sonic 1 or Sonic 2.
Yeah, it has Sonic and it has Eggman, and
that's the most it gets to being like an adaptation of Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or even 2.
Yeah.
And then Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, is very obviously it is Sonic Adventure 2 and then Sonic it's Sonic Adventure 2 and 3 combined into one
You
story.
mean Sonic Basic 2 and
Sonic 2, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, all combined into one story, which makes for a very cluttered movie, but a very fun movie.
Yeah.
And then the third one is Sonic Adventure 2.
They've not adapted the events of Sonic Adventure 1 yet. I'm assuming because they're probably waiting to save Chaos as like the big bad or something.
I guess, I don't really know. It's a very interesting... It's interesting how we've gone from buddy comedy with Sonic in the real world to straightforward game adaptation.
Now hit the second tower, Maria.
You're no Maria. That one went hard.
Hard as fuck.
Jim Carrey in this one in general, I felt like was a bit like... Weirdly, because you think when there's 2 of him and he's like mugging with himself that it's going to be more stupid, and there definitely are moments where he's like more stupid, but there's also like...
It feels a lot more condensed.
Yeah, like the movie doesn't stop so often mid-scene.
Now it does, now to be fair, there are entire sections of the movie where when the 2 Eggmen are on screen, literally everything stops happening.
Yeah. It's instead of the action stopping mid-scene for Jim Carrey to riff, we cut to scenes that are just Jim Carrey riffing with himself. Where like things are happening, but not really like ultimately he's just goofing around until the other characters get there.
Right.
I don't know. They gave Jim Carrey another Jim Carrey to babysit him. And it's quite amusing. I thought it was funny. There were some good jokes in there with him. I liked the very meta bit where they're like, it's like we're 2 characters acting in the same movie.
That was pretty good.
Played by the same actor. that's a joke that will either flop or land. But to me, it
There's
worked
only one blade, and there's only ever gonna be one blade.
Oh god, I haven't seen Deadpool yet. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Spoilers, Blade is in it.
I know like everyone who's in that movie because it's all over social media. That's the other one we said we were going to do a Matthew McFadden episode. We'll have to do that next.
We'll have to.
Yeah. Anyway, that is. I was going to say that joke felt like something out of a Deadpool movie, but it also felt like something out of like a YouTube. Like, it felt like something out of the Snap Cube dub or something.
Yeah.
Like that kind of audience lampshading. And it's just kind of fun. It's just kind of fun to see that in a movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. That's what I like about these Sonic movies is they're very sort of, irreverence not even the right word. It's more than that. They're like, they feel shitposty sometimes. This one not as much. This one
felt like an actual movie.
Yeah. This one.
Despite what Jack will tell you.
Well, I mean, I think the first one probably felt the most like an actual movie to him because it was the most. It was the man and car movie. Yeah. Also, the first one is kind of like. Probably in terms of sheer amount, the first one's probably actually the least shitposty, but the shitposty stuff stands out more because the rest of the first movie is so boring that like the meanie stuff stands out more.
Yeah.
Whereas with the third movie, we kind of come in with an expectation already in place of like what the tone of these are.
Yeah.
But they managed to do some like I was surprised by some of the ways they pushed the boundaries of the tone. Like,
I mean, they actually made you kind of care about Donut Lord.
Right? I don't think they called him Donut Lord at all in this one. That was a bit exclusively for the second movie, and maybe the first two? I don't remember. But yeah, no, he gets...
Well, because it was meant to originally be Chris Pratt.
Oh, yeah.
Star-Lord. Donut Lord.
That does make sense. I like that it's James Marsden. If it was Chris Pratt, I feel like it would be, you'd feel even more, more generic somehow.
It would be, it would feel like it would feel like the way those Jurassic World movies feels, where it's it would feel like a Jurassic World movie, but it would feel like soulless in that same way as this is just a movie that exists to be to keep the IP relevant.
Chris Pratt already has Mario.
Look, Chris Pratt. It's a me.
But anyway, Sonic's sort of character turn after Tom gets punched by Shadow is like, oh shit, Sonic's actually not just quipping anymore. He's gonna walk in here for the third act of the movie, and it didn't feel like cheesy that he went to serious. Now I did find the conflict about we can't use the Master Emerald, Sonic. I have to hide the Master Emerald. I found that to be a bit
kind of forced.
Kind of forced, yes. A bit forced. Especially because I don't really remember that being a big deal in the second movie.
Well, it was a big deal. The Master Emerald in general was a big deal. So him using it was a big deal. But it wasn't it's forbidden. The last time we saw the Master Emerald in the movies, at least, it was in a cooler. It was in a cooler that they were bringing on their camping trip.
And I sort of immediately clocked that as the writers needing a reason to not have the Master Emerald, to not have him use the Master Emerald until the third act. I'm like,
why doesn't Goku go Super Saiyan away and kill all the bad guys?
But
then it wouldn't be a good story.
Yeah. But I really liked what they did with Shadow. And all that, that stuff.
It turns it from some of the most dumb, edgy, it just turns it from edgy, kind of boring edginess, into something kind of actually not interesting, but an actual story behind it where it's a guy. It's how far will you go for revenge?
Mm-hmm.
What will you lose for the ones you love?
And including Gerald Robotnik and not having him be dead like in the games does serve more of a purpose than just now there are two funny Jim Carrey.
Now there are two Jim Carrey. My eyes are seeing double. 4 Jim Carreys.
Having Grandpa Robotnik being alive was kind of what made Jim Carrey's Eggman have a connection to the plot at all.
It felt like, yeah, because now he is like a living embodiment of not being able to let it go.
Yeah, and then like that scene between the two of them where he's like where young Eggman finds out that Grandpa Eggman is gonna blow up the world, and he's like, it'll blow up everything, including us. And you're like, I had an actual, I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
He didn't think it would. He did like the fact that like Gerald is like so willing to go down.
Yeah.
With that, and also that like Eggman is so actually caught off guard. Like you thought, like, oh, is he gonna like betray his? Is he gonna betray his granddad? Is he just all in on like? Is he gonna try to steal the plan at the last minute? Well, but like, he doesn't.
Yeah, and I like that when he has that moment of like, oh shit, my grandpa wants to destroy everything.
It's a quiet moment.
It's a quiet moment, and it lets him like, and he contemplates it, but he doesn't spend a ton of time thinking about it. He kind of just takes action in a way that's really interesting for the character, and they don't have him like go back on that at the end cheaply and be like, haha, well I didn't want to destroy the world, but I'm still a villain, and then like they're like, nah, he's saving the world. Yeah. He gets to go out. Yeah. Like his death scene and the way his character arc was handled in the movie was good enough that I'm like,
if Jim Carrey doesn't renew his contract for another one and never comes back for another Sonic movie, I'm happy with the ending of Robotnik.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't need any more. They'll probably bring him back if he wants to come back, just because.
Jim Carrey would be like, I am never doing another Sonic movie again. Cha-ching,
cha-ching,
cha-ching, I'm doing another Sonic movie.
But it's just like his storyline was surprisingly well handled, and the fact that they actually like took his relationship with Agent Stone too, like the
they said the quiet, not out loud, but like it's all but stated that they're in a gay toxic codependent relationship.
The actor who plays Agent Stone is
absolutely plays it like that.
And well, he also like he reposts shipping stuff and like from what I've heard, he's very active online and reposting shipping content between them, and it's like he does play it like that because there's a subplot in this movie where
Agent Stone feeling like he's being left behind and not appreciated by Eggman.
And he does play it like it can be interpreted as just being upset that his friend, but it also like, you know, he plays it like it definitely is more than just a casual friendship that the character is losing. And that's like really interesting. Like that makes me genuinely interested to see where his character will go if Jim Carrey doesn't come back, or if Jim Carrey does, for that matter. Like, where does that dynamic go? Where does that relationship go? I feel like that's a more interesting thing that they've done with Eggman as a character than maybe anything the games have tried to do with him as a character.
Yeah.
Like
every
he's a
time
static villain in the game.
That's what I was saying. It's like if he does die, it won't really matter because everything after Sonic 2, he just shows up to cause problem to release the actual villain of the game. Other than like Sonic Generations and Sonic Mania, both of which are games
sort of
made retro throwback celebration games that are not maybe not even canon. Like
it seems like Sega is investing big in Shadow between the Sonic Generations remake having like a whole Shadow game in it, and then like this movie. And, you know, the post-credits stinger, spoilers.
They didn't kill off Shadow the Hedgehog.
They don't want to just use Shadow in one movie and then never again. I feel like that goes without saying. Like,
spoiler. I feel like the actual spoiler. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure, we can talk about it.
Yeah, so I feel like the actual spoiler is at the very end. Amy shows up.
Yeah, Amy shows up.
And fighting an army of
Metal Sonics.
Which is like, okay, who made those?
Guess
what?
We'll find out.
She's been fighting them this whole time. It is an honestly pretty interesting setup.
Yeah.
Because like now you're like, well, if Eggman is dead, who made these?
Right.
And Gerald, we know what Gerald's been up to in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
He's been plotting everything to this day.
My revenge, my revenge.
So it's like, what has everyone... Who the hell had time to make these?
Right. I'm trying to think of other notable things about the movie that I really enjoyed. They played Live and Learn.
Live and
Learn. Which was nice, because that was a nice Sonic and the whole third act's pretty great, fight climax sequence.
I mean, the whole third act is also literally just the climax
it's
of Sonic the Hedgehog
it's the most overtly plucking the climax of one of the games and putting it in movie format. And I feel like really the only differences come from how Eggman fits into it.
Yeah, he's like from like cartoonish villain to kind of to somewhat like anti-hero.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean
it's good, pretty good,
pretty good movie. We've reached the point. It was like the first one, the arc we've gone on of quality from the first one to the third one, where like the ironic,
the stupider they get, like the more, like the kind of not insincere, but like ironic, like not really always trying to keep its kind of distance.
Yeah.
From like the goofy video game stuff to no, there's just full on. We got Shadow the Hedgehog, the Edgehog. We got Gerald Robotnik.
Oh, I was gonna say I did not love Keanu Reeves' voice work.
No.
I thought Shadow the character was written well and adapted very well, and Keanu Reeves was able to successfully played Shadow's like cheesy edginess. But
he's so edgy, it's like over the top.
Yeah, but
so it comes back around.
But there was a layer to the performance that was missing that would have made me more genuinely invested in his storyline.
Yeah,
like there was only a couple.
I feel like that's the problem with like.
Emotion.
I feel like that's the problem. Just like always a problem with writing Shadow, or like just Shadow in general. Mm-hmm. It's like the character, like the writing is one way, and then the way that the character is actually performed is so a completely different way that it often ends up feeling like this is just literally an edge, like a teenager's edgelord.
Yeah, it was weird because I feel like Keanu Reeves' voice work, had it been voice work for Shadow in a video game, it would have been above average. But for a movie, it felt lacking.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It felt a little like flat and a little emotionless at times, and not in a way where the character is trying to hide their emotion.
No, Shadow tells you his emotions front and center.
Yeah.
It's rage.
It was just a little too subdued.
I am all of me.
And it's a shame because most of the other vocal performances, like Ben Schwartz's Sonic,
still really good.
Idris Elba's Knuckles, good.
I loved how goofy he was.
Tails actor is literally just the game actor,
literally
so
Tails.
of course they're gonna be good.
Good.
But then Shadow was just kind of not at that same level.
You're a colorful bunch.
He was good at delivering the comedic lines.
He was good at delivering the one-liners.
Yeah, the one-liners, which I
the stuff
kind
that
of
was
expected from Keanu Reeves, but I think it was kind of Keanu Reeves was not proving the Keanu Reeves can't act idea wrong with this one. But in spite of that, I still enjoyed the character and his presence. And the backstory section with Maria was really nice.
Yeah. I can't believe this movie got me to care about Maria.
Right.
Kudos to them, because Maria and Shadow is such this is...
Well, I mean, there's the memes are cheering when Maria gets shot. You play.
No one cares about Maria. They just want to see her die, so that Shadow can go on his edgelord.
But I think with the flashbacks and with Shadow's character and with Gerald also being still alive and also getting to see him express his grief, that sort of like the themes of regret and grief were actually fully explored.
Yeah.
In a way that was pretty satisfying.
Let's go.
Sonic's on the run, Sonic.
Sonic Underground.